Hey everybody, it's Savannah Taylor, the Gardenista, your kitchen garden coach. Welcome back to my classroom. Today we are going to be continuing our series on how to plant sweet potatoes because we want to get our sweet potatoes in the ground, or in the soil rather, in time for the holidays. And I don't know about you, but I really love me some sweet potato pies made with homegrown yams. So we're going to get started. And what I've done, if you've missed any part of this series, by the way, I will put a link down below as to how we got to this point. So there is no sweet potato seed, starting things from seed. What we do is we start from the slips or the plants that come from the yams. And just really quickly, what I started with was some organic yams that I got at the grocery store. I placed them in some soil in my raised bed over here. I did three of them. One of them didn't quite do so good, but man, I got a whole lot of slips or plants from just two of them. And I mean, if I had not removed these from the ones that were already in there, this would have taken over the whole bed, I'm telling you. So this is just from two yams, you guys. And you always want to get organic sweet potatoes from the grocery store, because when you get the regular ones, they spray them with an inhibitor so that they don't sprout while they're waiting to be bought. So you don't want those. You want to get organic yams, lay them in the soil. And also, I know that traditionally sometimes people will put them in water with the toothpicks and hold it up and whatnot and, put it in the window. That's a preference, and then that's okay. I know, like I said, that's a very traditional way of doing it. However, I prefer to just lay the yam, the whole yam or sweet potato, wherever you're from, however you call them, in the soil so that it gets the whole energy of the sweet potato. Okay. So from that, of course, we get the slips, and I removed them once the plants grow up. And look at this root system. I'm going to come up close because, baby, y'all know how I feel about roots. All right, now look at the awesome root system on this. Isn't that just, I mean, can you believe it? Look at that. That's what we want. So once you pull them out of the yam and you place it in water for, I'd say this was about a week and a half, and this is what results. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so what I have here is my 20-gallon grow bag. If you followed me from last season, I did direct sow my slips into the ground, and I had a beautiful harvest, absolutely gorgeous. This year, I do want to try something a little different. I want to use my grow bags because once the yams or the sweet potatoes form, I'll be able to just dump these out and pick the potatoes out without having to claw and dig and risk bruising them, because there is one final step after this part where they have to cure for a little bit, and you don't want to bruise or scrape your potatoes because that will speed up the aging process and you won't be able to store them as long. So you really want to be careful about that. So this is just something that's going to be really fun. I look forward to. I'm not going to be able to fit all of these into one. I'm probably going to put I'd say about 4 plants in this one, and then I'll have another grow bag just so that the tubers or the potatoes have enough room to, grow. And if you cram them too close together, they'll come out really small, and that's not what you want to do. So let's go ahead and get these in the soil. And again, this is not rocket science, you guys. I am literally just plopping these right in the soil. And what you want to do is you definitely want to use, if you haven't seen my previous videos on soil, you want to use a raised bed soil mix. You don't want to use any soil, from your yard when you are planting things, because you're not going to get the results that you want. And if you are doing anything indoors, this is just FYI for those of you who might not have been following me for a while, but if you ever grow anything indoors, you definitely want to use indoor soil, because if you don't, you're going to get gnats. Okay, that's just FYI. But when you're using containers or any kind of raised beds or grow bags, you want to use soil for raised beds. and that will give the plants the nutrients that it needs. Okay. If you get anything else, another type of soil, like if it doesn't say potting soil, if it doesn't say raised bed, you then do want to mix that in with maybe some topsoil or something like that, because it's not going to be as I don't know what the word is for it, but it's not going to be as fine. It's not going to be for uh, uh, that particular type of plant. But I'll do another video on soil. But for the time being, just make sure if you use a grow bag, or if you use a raised bed, or if you use any type of container, make sure it says soil for a raised bed. Okay. And that's just FYI. And let's see, I think I can squeeze one more in here. I want to squeeze one more in here. Let's see. Yeah, well, no, we'll leave it. We'll leave it at just these three, because that is a pretty big plant, and I think I'm going to get a lot. This is probably going to give me, oh gosh, probably about 5 yams. One good slip will give you about 5 yams or more. So I don't want to overcrowd too much. So I'm just going to let this be. And then I'm going to get another grow bag for these. But that's it, you guys. That's pretty much the next step in the process. And I know that there are several steps to this, but I just want to note, none of this really takes that long. When you put your yams in the soil, we're talking a few minutes. And then once they come up, you pluck them out, place them in some water, put them in the window, done. And then here we are at this step. I plopped them in some soil, done. So I just want to say that, because I know sometimes people might feel a little overwhelmed, like, oh, that's too much work. It really isn't. There's several steps, but it's not a lot of work. And man, it is so worth it. If you have ever had a homegrown sweet potato or tasted it, it really, and that goes for most things that you grow on your own, it really is no comparison from the flavors that you get from the grocery store. So I encourage you all to please try this. There's still time if you want to have sweet potatoes in time for the holidays. I know that we make a lot of dishes with yams even after the holidays. I like to serve, a candied yam, or just some sweet potatoes by themselves with some butter and sugar, or whatever, however you want to eat them. And they are low on the glycemic index for those of you who have some sugar issues or whatnot. So just a wonderful, wonderful thing to try to grow, even if you are a beginner gardener. So if you have any questions, please feel free to note them down below. I love your questions. I'm enjoying you all. If I've left anything out, please let me know. And again, I will put a link down below of this series. Okay, if you've missed any part of this series, I'll be sure and put those videos down below for you all. Okay. All right. Well, then until next time when we grow something else, I'll see you later. Bye.